Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. The time 10:36 on the East Coast and 7:36 on the West Coast. You are taking a live look outside of the courthouse this hour as we're following breaking news. A major development in the case against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of assassinating the CEO of UnitedHealthcare in Midtown Manhattan. A judge agreeing to dismiss a federal murder charge against Mangione. Nate Foy at Fox News joining us now live with the latest here. And Nate, a lot of information just coming in.
Yeah, so the judge just filed some written opinions ahead of the 11 a.m. federal court hearing where Luigi Mangione will appear. There were two big decisions, one of them for his defense, the other one against. But the biggest news here is that the judge dismissed the two most serious charges against Mangione, murder through use of a firearm and another firearms offense, which means that the death penalty is now off the table in this federal case, and New York State doesn't do the death penalty. So that means that Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty in either of his two trials. The other big decision that the judge just shared is a denial of the move by Mangione's defense team to suppress evidence. So they had argued that his constitutional rights were violated during his arrest in Pennsylvania with the search of his backpack and the absence of a search warrant. Inside that backpack, police found the ghost gun that prosecutors allege was the murder weapon, as well as his journal. The judge ruled that evidence will be allowed to be presented at trial. So what does this all mean? We just talked about the death penalty now being off the table. It also impacts the timing of this federal trial because we know that the jury selection is scheduled for September. And now that Mangione is not facing the most serious charge of murder through use of a firearm, the timing actually moves up to possibly October for the start of this trial, whereas it would have been January had the judge made the different decision today. It's also competing with the state case where the Manhattan DA's office wants to start the state trial on July 1st. Mangione's defense team hasn't officially responded to that, but they did put out a statement saying that's unrealistic and they need more time to prepare for a trial. So the feds and the state are sort of angling to get this case first. Each of them wants to go first. They'll get more media attention if it's first. And the state argues this is more of a state issue rather than a federal issue. But we'll see exactly how things shake out. With today's ruling, it actually bumps up the timeline relative to what it could have been had Mangione faced that more serious charge. But the big news is that he's no longer facing the death penalty because that was only possible under that most serious charge.
Nate, obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of developments here, but I also wanted to ask you about another situation that's developing as well. A man who was arrested for an alleged jailbreak situation involving Mangione. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so Mangione will arrive here today from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And earlier this week, just kind of a crazy story, a Minnesota man got arrested for impersonating an FBI officer and claiming that he was there to release a prisoner. And that prisoner was Mangione, and he was found with a pizza cutter and a barbecue fork. So that man is facing charges. Obviously, his plan didn't work. We have seen some people here today outside the courthouse. There was two people with a sign that said drop the charges, and the charges are not dropped. He still is facing 2 counts of stalking in this federal case, which does carry the possibility of life in prison. But it's big news that he is no longer charged with murder through use of a firearm, and the death penalty is off the table. So it's been a wild week with that attempted jailbreak in Brooklyn, and then today we'll see Mangione in a federal courtroom at 11 a.m.
All right, Nate Foy there at Fox News. As always, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You got it, Josh. Have a good day.
You too.